Hello, my name is Star Rock, and I am here with BET.com. Hi, Shanonia, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Okay, so, you know, Emmett Till's story is traumatic, but it's necessary viewing. So, talk about your approach to telling the story with how you balance the fact that it's educational, but also with kind of how you convey the trauma in the storytelling.
Well, first, this is not the Emmett Till story. This is a story about Mamie, you know? And so when we understand that narrative perspective, it really opens up the story, right? And this is a film that follows Mamie's emotional journey and her journey in evolving activist consciousness, you know? And so the physical violence that was inflicted upon Emmett is not critical to understanding or telling Mamie's journey. And so just being very clear about that within myself as a writer director, it was a no-brainer for me to figuring out how to when making the decision to really focus on her emotional POV, and that means the exclusion of the physical violence against Black bodies. And so right there, that reflects a sensitivity to the trauma that's a part of what happened to Emmett, but that's not Mamie's story.
And so what was unique about working with this particular cast and crew? Like, what did you love about the production, and did you learn anything about the story that you didn't know before?
I mean, I didn't know. I'd never heard about Dr. T.R.M. Howard before I signed on to make this film. You know, I didn't know about Mound Bayou's rich history. I knew a little bit about Ruby Hurley, but I didn't know to what extent she was involved in this story. Myrlie Evers is another freedom fighter who I didn't know too much about. And so I learned so much about, and I also learned how big this story is and how critical the community was to Mamie's journey. And so that's something that I just continue to be blown away about. And I hope that it will inspire audiences to go do some, Google searching to learn more about all of the people in the story.
Yeah, and I know you were very intentional about even like the way it was ended with Mamie's speech. And she said, when something happens to one of us in the world, it happens to all of us. And then to top that off with the fact that we got a reminder that the anti-lynching bill was just signed into law, like in March, 60 plus years later. So I said that to say, can you elaborate on why her speech was important? Like, why is it that when something happens to one of us, it's something that we should all be concerned about? We're going to elaborate for the people in the back.
Well, it's because we're all connected. We're all connected, as Black people, we're all connected, and that's in a diasporic sense around the world. As human beings, we're all connected, and that we have to be considerate and intentional about our contributions to the world, because it's our contributions to one another, and we're living and existing in this world together. And so we have to be intentional and conscious about what that means. And, some of us, we have different privileges from one another and are oppressed in different ways than one another. And we have to be as mindful of all of those different privileges and oppressions that are across communities, and Mamie's speech in the Harlem rally, it's taken from her actual words. She was content in this middle class bubble before her son was taken from her, and was not concerned about people outside of her, outside of that bubble. And her bubble was burst in a way that really forced her to realize that her journey, her experience is tied to other people, that we are living for more than just ourselves.